What is the worst reason someone has used to reject you?
Finally something I can answer. I had a girl reject me, say, "I can't date you because what if we go on a date to somewhere with stairs? I'm in a wheelchair. They see me rollin'. They hatin'." I got the privilege of being the see if I could do this relationship after a divorce. After doing the whole meet the family, talk about moving in, blah blah blah. Go out to dinner one night, they dropped to the effect of "Thanks for giving me the confidence to know that I can put myself out there again." As they explained it, they just needed to know if they could even go through the motions of a relationship. Well, at least you probably have a clue why they are divorced. Thanks for giving me the confidence to know that I can handle a 10-year-long marriage. You may go now. In first grade my crush was asking around if someone could tie his shoes because I guess he didn't know how to. Me wanting to tie his shoes and maybe talk to him said, "I'll tie your shoes." And then he just said these shoes are a different type. One stupid reason and one broken-hearted 6-year-old. You dodged a bullet, dude couldn't even tie his own shoe. A guy who brought me to a coffee shop under the guise of a date and broke it off after we'd sat there for an hour talking about a movie he suggested I watch and told me he didn't think I could handle his anxiety. Turns out his anxiety was really another girl he was dating at the same time as me. I'd have just preferred the truth. She was into really fat dudes and I was only kinda fat. You dodged a bullet, chubby. If he was any fatter, would be pretty damn hard to miss. I have lupus, and the guy said "I don't want you to die before I do." He then proceeded to go for the crackhead with multiple DUIs. Didn't get asked out on a second date in college because my FP was too high. FP equals fat potential. Wait. What? My ex would cancel plans at the last minute and explain in great detail it was so that I'd be disappointed, which would make her feel guilty, which would in turn make the guilt a form of self-punishment for disappointing me in the first place, and also so that we wouldn't do the thing she wanted to do, which would make her disappointed by that fact as a further form of self-punishment for causing the disappointment, all of which would mean that I had inflicted negative emotions on her, that is the guilt and disappointment, so that she could be angry about the whole thing. Mercifully that particular relationship didn't last too long. I'll give her mental gymnastics routine a 9 out of 10. I don't like girls that play RPG, says the lifelong RPG nerd. You must have been too good at grinding. Or not good enough at grinding. Sorry. I only like tall boys. Is 6'1" not tall enough for you?
Are you not entertained?
My roommate's cat is really sick and needs to go to the vet. Can you take me home? I've got the only car in the house. 1 week later, hey, how's the cat doing? What cat? If you're gonna lie, at least remember it for a week. I was on a really awkward coffee date. I had already mentioned I was heading to my parents' place for dinner that evening, a couple hours after the start. Maybe an hour into the date, I just wanted out. I mentioned I was gonna head to my parents then instead, and when he asked so early, I told him I wanted to play with their dog. Not my finest moment, but that date was going awfully bad. What made it seem so bad to you? Details. He kept saying pickup lines. After the date had already started. We had no meaningful conversation and I couldn't tell you the first thing about him other than the fact that he thinks this is a good move. We were walking back from the park when he stopped me dead in my tracks and insists that we go into Taco Bell after I'd already used the dog line. So we walk in, he orders a taco, grabs the hot sauce, turns to me and looks me dead in the eye to say, "The only thing hotter than this hot sauce is you." He then opens the packet, downs it straight from the packet into his mouth, which takes an awkward 15 seconds. Then throws away his taco. Looks at me again, and says, "I'd never throw away your taco. I'm really into you, but I still think I want to be with my boyfriend for a few more months, but when he goes back to Pennsylvania, we can start going out. Bitch, I'm not a TV dinner. You can't pop me in the freezer and think I'll be ready to heat up when you're ready for me." High school girlfriend broke up with me after 2 years, saying it was God's will we break up. Not really your mistake, but I feel you. I pardon you, God. Chick told me she couldn't date someone with as serious mommy issues as I did. My mommy issues was that she had died 2 months earlier. I don't speak English with a French accent, so I wasn't as exotic as they thought I would be. English isn't my first language, but neither is French, so I was quite confused. I felt like I was with a child, because I have dwarfism. I don't blame her at all for feeling that way, and it's a totally justified reason to not feel attraction towards me, but fuck, did that do a number on my self-esteem. I'm 4 feet tall and I have achondroplasia, the same disproportionate form as Peter Dinklage. I use a wheelchair. He dumped me because of it by saying, "When I'm with you, I'm disabled, too." I would have much rather he called me a fucking bitch, because being a fucking bitch is something I could have changed, you know. What kind of fucking loser doesn't want to cut the lines at Disneyland? I like you, I just can't handle your gay side. After she had outed me to my entire high school for being bi. She broke up with me after. That's fucked up. Jeez, you trust someone enough to tell them that, and then they go and run their mouth about it. No wonder all the bi men are hiding. Worst part is, I didn't tell her. She read through my Skype and found out. No reason given. Just ghosted me. Man the fuck up, Josh. Yeah, Josh, what the fuck, bro? Holy shit, my first boyfriend was also a Josh and did the exact same thing. Because you rejected me a few months ago, and even though I still like you, it's my turn to reject you. I had this in a job interview. I turned a place down, and the job I got instead didn't work out. A recruiter from the company contacted me a few months later, so I restarted the process. When they worked out who I was, they then cut all contact. I can laugh now, it was over 4 years ago. Was your recruiter George Costanza? Went out with a girl on 3 dates, just her and I, only to be told, "I thought you were just being friendly." That's a true F. I'm going to Poland that day. Was it by chance on September 1st, 1939? I asked a girl I had a crush on to prom, being very cheesy with my promposal too. I asked her before 3rd hour and she said that she doesn't want to because my dad is hotter. I instantly lost my feelings for her and ended up asking a hot freshman instead. "Hey wanna go to the prom with me?" "Oh, sorry, but I'd rather go with your dad. Mind asking him for me?" Did a 6-month study abroad program halfway across the globe. Met a guy from my program, whose home was only a state away, and my university. Became close and eventually started dating, staying at each other's place, traveling together. On the way back to the States, we did a stopover in another destination. Had a great time. His folks paid for a romantic meal and a bottle of bubbly for us to enjoy as they were excited to meet me later in the fall when they would come for a visit. First leg of the flight to the US was 13 hours. Everything going great. Did I mention no red flags yet? We get to my terminal for my flight to my state and he says, "I shit you not," verbatim, "so I don't really do phone calls or anything. I'll just see ya around on campus in September and maybe we can grab a coffee or something." This was June. I was silent. Motherfucker pat me on my shoulder, turned around and walked away. And that was that. Thank you for watching. Have a meme day.